Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're counting down the 7 Harley Davidson motorcycles dealers can't sell so you can buy them with heavy discount.
Number 7. Harley Davidson Street Glide ST.
Harley built this bike to be the ultimate performance bagger, powerful, aggressive, and ready to dominate the road. But instead, it's sitting in showrooms and now dealers are offering massive discounts just to move them. The Harley Davidson Street Glide ST was meant to be a performance-focused touring bike, blending the power of the Milwaukee 8 117 engine with a sleek, stripped-down design. It delivers 106 horsepower and 126 pound-feet of torque, making it one of the most powerful baggers in Harley's lineup. The lightweight chassis, dark bronze finishes, and high-performance suspension were designed to attract aggressive riders who wanted touring capability without the bulk. But here's the problem. That's a niche market. The starting price of $30,000 puts the Street Glide ST in a premium category, making it too expensive for casual riders and too stripped down for serious touring enthusiasts. The lowered rear suspension sacrifices comfort for style, making long-distance rides less enjoyable compared to models like the Road Glide Special or the Ultra Limited. Another issue? Harley's own lineup. The Road Glide Special offers similar power and features but with a fixed fairing, which many riders prefer for better wind protection. Plus, competitors like the Indian Challenger provide more tech and comfort at a lower price, making buyers think twice before committing to the Street Glide ST. Dealers overestimated demand, and now they're stuck with inventory that they're struggling to move. Discounts of $3,000 to $5,000 aren't uncommon, making this a great time to buy if you've been eyeing one. And if you think the Street Glide ST struggled, just wait until you see number 6, a Harley that was supposed to attract new riders but ended up being completely ignored.
Number 6. Harley Davidson Street 500 and 750. Harley thought this was the bike that would bring in a new generation of riders, affordable, lightweight, and beginner-friendly. Instead, dealers can't get rid of them fast enough.
The Harley Davidson Street 500 and Street 750 were designed to be entry-level motorcycles, making Harley more accessible to new riders and younger generations. These bikes featured a liquid-cooled Revolution X engine, with the Street 500 producing 34 horsepower and the Street 750 pushing out 53 horsepower. Weighing just over 500 pounds, they were lighter and easier to handle than Harley's traditional cruisers. Sounds good on paper, right? Here's where it all went wrong.
First off, they didn't feel like Harleys. The engines lacked the signature Harley rumble, and their performance was underwhelming compared to competitors. Instead of the raw torque and deep V-twin sound that Harley fans love, these bikes felt more like budget commuters.
Then there was the build quality. Riders quickly noticed cheap plastic components, rattling parts, and flimsy controls. Mirrors vibrated at highway speeds, and the suspension was so stiff that even small bumps felt like potholes. For a brand that prides itself on premium craftsmanship, the Street Series felt unrefined and rushed. And let's talk about price. The Street 500 started at $7,699, while the Street 750 was $8,499. But for just a little more, riders could buy a used Sportster 883, a bike with better performance, resale value, and the classic Harley aesthetic. Even worse, competition from bikes like the Honda Rebel 500 and Yamaha Bolt made the Street Series look overpriced and outdated. The result? Nobody wanted them.
Harley discontinued both models in 2020, and to this day, dealers are still sitting on leftover inventory. Many are offering huge discounts just to clear them out, with some street models selling for under $6,000.
If you thought the Street Series was a flop, wait until you see number 5, an aggressive muscle cruiser that had all the power but none of the Harley soul.
Number 5. Harley Davidson FXD R114. Harley built this bike to be a high-performance, drag-inspired power cruiser. It had the speed, the torque, and the attitude. But here's the problem. Nobody bought it.
The Harley Davidson FXD R114 was meant to be the ultimate modern muscle cruiser, blending drag race styling with high-performance engineering. Powered by the Milwaukee 8 114 engine, it delivered an impressive 119 pound-feet of torque and 100 horsepower, making it one of the most powerful bikes in Harley's soft ale lineup.
The design screamed speed. With an aluminum swing arm, inverted front forks, and a massive 240mm rear tire tire, the FXDR was built to dominate straight-line acceleration. It had a stretched, low-slung frame, a sport bike-inspired air intake, and aggressive forward controls that made it look more like a futuristic dragster than a traditional cruiser.
But here's the problem. Harley fans didn't want it. The FXDR's futuristic design was too radical for traditional Harley riders who preferred the classic cruiser aesthetic. The stretched riding position was uncomfortable for long rides, with many riders complaining of back and wrist strain after just a short time on the bike. Then there was the price. At $18,999, the FXDR was competing against bikes like the Lowrider S and the Fat Bob, both of which had more classic styling and better resale value. Meanwhile, performance-focused riders could get a Ducati Diavel or a Yamaha V-Max, which offered even more power and better handling. Another big issue? The handling. While the FXDR was great in a straight line, that massive rear tire made it difficult to maneuver in tight corners. Many riders found it awkward at low speeds, making it impractical for everyday riding. In the end, the FXDR was too much of a sport bike for Harley fans and too much of a cruiser for sport bike riders. It fell into a weird middle ground that nobody was asking for. Harley discontinued the FXDR in 2020, and dealers have been stuck with unsold models ever since. If you're looking for a powerful Harley at a steep discount, this might be your best bet. But just know, there's a reason why dealers are practically giving them away. If you thought the FXDR was a tough sell, wait until you see number 4. A Harley that tried to be both a cruiser and a touring bike but failed at both.
Number 4. Harley Davidson Switchback. A cruiser that was supposed to double as a tourer? Sounds like a great idea, right? Well, not exactly. The Harley Davidson Switchback tried to be 2 bikes in one, but in the end it wasn't great at either.
The Harley Davidson Switchback was introduced as a lightweight, versatile touring cruiser with detachable hard saddlebags and a quick-release windshield. The idea was simple. Cruise around town during the week, then convert it into a light touring bike for weekend road trips. At its core, the Switchback was powered by the twin-cam 103 engine, delivering 102 pound-feet of torque. It had a relatively light frame compared to full-size touring bikes, making it easier to handle, especially for riders who weren't ready for a full-fledged Road King or Street Glide. But here's the problem. It never found its audience. Harley riders looking for a lightweight cruiser already had better options like the Street Bob or Lowrider, both of which had more aggressive styling and better resale value. On the other hand, touring riders weren't interested either. The Switchback's limited storage, smaller fuel tank, and lack of advanced touring features made it far less practical than a proper bagger like the Road King or Electra Glide. And then there was the ride quality. While it was supposed to be nimble, the stiff suspension made it feel rough on long rides. The narrow front end and short wheelbase made it feel unstable at highway speeds, which is a big red flag for touring riders. Another issue, the price. At launch, the Switchback started at $16,499, which wasn't much cheaper than a fully equipped touring bike. Riders took one look at the price tag and realized they could just spend a little more and get a proper touring machine instead. As a result, the Switchback never really took off. It didn't have the agility of a cruiser or the long-distance comfort of a tourer, and because of that, dealers have been stuck with unsold models for years. If you think the Switchback was caught in an identity crisis, just wait until you see number 3, a Harley that was built for speed but ended up being one of the most polarizing models in the lineup.
Number 3. Harley Davidson Electra Glide Standard. At number 3, we have a bike that was meant to be a back-to-basics touring machine, but instead it ended up lost in the lineup. Meet the Harley Davidson Electra Glide Standard, a stripped-down bagger that dealers just can't move.
The Harley Davidson Electra Glide Standard was introduced as a no-frills touring bike designed for riders who wanted a classic Harley without all the high-tech extras. It was built on the same touring chassis as the Street Glide and Road Glide, featuring the Milwaukee 8 107 engine, delivering 93 horsepower and 110 pound-feet of torque. Enough power for long highway stretches and effortless cruising. Harley's goal with the Electra Glide Standard was simple: strip out the technology and luxury features of their premium touring bikes and offer a more affordable option for purists. Gone were the infotainment system, premium audio, and fancy paint schemes. Instead, you got basic gauges, a simple batwing fairing, and plain black and chrome styling. But here's the problem: it didn't fully satisfy anyone. For traditional bagger riders, the Electra Glide felt too bare bones. reviews. Riders looking for a full-fledged touring bike expected features like navigation, Bluetooth, and a premium sound system, none of which came with this model. For budget-conscious riders, the Electra Glide Standard wasn't cheap enough. With a starting price of $19,999, it was still expensive compared to used road glides and street glides that offered better features for the same price. For customization enthusiasts, the stripped-down design lacked the versatility of Harley's Softail models, making it less appealing as a blank slate for personal builds. With low sales and little demand, the Electra Glide Standard has become a slow-moving model in Harley dealerships, leading to heavily discounted prices just to clear out stock. Some dealers are knocking off thousands of dollars, making it one of the cheapest full-size baggers on the market today. If you're looking for a stripped-down touring bike and don't mind missing out on premium features, the Electra Glide Standard could be a bargain. But for Harley, this was yet another case of a bike that tried to simplify too much and ended up getting ignored. If you thought the Electra Glide Standard struggles were bad, just wait until you see number 2, a bike that was supposed to be a bold new chapter for Harley, but ended up one of its most controversial models ever.
Number 2, Harley Davidson CVO Road Glide. Harley Davidson's CVO lineup is supposed to be the best of the best, premium, exclusive, and built for riders who demand top-tier performance and luxury. But with the CVO Road Glide, Harley may have pushed too far. At nearly $50,000, even die-hard Harley fans are saying no thanks, and now dealers are scrambling to offload them.
The Harley Davidson CVO Road Glide is meant to be the ultimate touring machine. Powered by the Milwaukee 8 121 engine, it delivers 115 horsepower and 139 pound-feet of torque, making it one of the most powerful touring bikes Harley has ever built. Its frame-mounted shark nose fairing enhances aerodynamics, and the bike is loaded with top-tier features like heated grips, adaptive LED lighting, and premium suspension. Harley also redesigned the Road Glide CVO in 2023, giving it an updated fairing, a massive 12.3-inch TFT touchscreen, and the most advanced infotainment system ever fitted to a Harley. The premium Rockford Fosgate audio system, hand-applied custom paint, and top-quality materials were supposed to set this bike apart from any other touring model on the market. But there's just one problem: almost no one is buying it. The CVO Road Glide starts at a staggering $48,999, which is far beyond what most Harley riders are willing to pay. For comparison, a standard Road Glide Special starts at $27,999, nearly half the price. A fully loaded Indian Challenger Elite costs around $36,000, offering similar performance and features.
Even a top-of-the-line Honda Goldwing or BMW K1600 Grand America costs thousands less while offering more advanced touring technology.
The biggest issue is that the standard Road Glide is already an excellent bike. Riders who want a high-end touring motorcycle can buy a base Road Glide and customize it for far less money than what the CVO costs. The Milwaukee 8 114 and 117 engines on lower-tier models already deliver plenty of power, making the CVO's small performance boost hard to justify. Another major problem? Depreciation. Unlike traditional Harleys that hold their value well, CVO models lose massive resale value the second they're ridden off the lot. A CVO Road Glide can drop by $10,000 to $15,000 in just 1 or 2 years, which kills its appeal as an investment. Even Harley's most loyal customers are hesitant to buy one. Riders looking for an ultra-premium touring bike often opt for a standard Road Glide and put their own custom touches on it, rather than paying an extra $20,000 for factory upgrades they don't necessarily need. As a result, dealers are sitting on unsold CVO Road Glides, and many are being offered with heavy discounts just to move inventory.
If you thought the CVO Road Glide was overpriced, just wait until you see our number 1 bike, a motorcycle that was meant to redefine versatility but ended up confusing buyers and leaving dealers desperate to sell them. Number 1, Harley Davidson Softail Sport Glide. At number 1, we have a Harley Davidson motorcycle that was supposed to be the perfect balance between a cruiser and a tourer. Instead, it ended up being being too in between for most riders, and now dealers can't get rid of them fast enough. Let's talk about the Harley Davidson Softail Sport Glide.
The Harley Davidson Softail Sport Glide was marketed as a do-it-all motorcycle, offering the agility of a cruiser with the touring capability of a bagger. At its heart is the Milwaukee 8 107 engine, producing 86 horsepower and 110 pound-feet of torque, giving it plenty of power for city riding and highway cruising. The bike's main selling point was its detachable mini fairing and quick-release saddlebags, allowing riders to switch from a stripped-down cruiser to a light touring bike in minutes. The low-slung stance, inverted front forks, and Softail frame promised a smooth, responsive ride, making it a great option for riders who wanted a blend of performance and practicality.
But here's where it went wrong. It didn't fully satisfy anyone.
For cruiser riders, the Sport Glide felt too bulky, especially with the fairing and saddlebags attached. Traditional cruiser fans preferred bikes like the Lowrider S or Fat Bob, which offered more aggressive styling and a more engaging ride. For touring riders, the Sport Glide lacked the comfort and features of full-dress tourers like the Road King or Street Glide. The mini fairing wasn't big enough to offer real wind protection, and the saddlebags, while useful, were smaller than what most touring riders needed. At a starting price of $19,999, the Sport Glide sat in an awkward position in Harley's lineup. For just a few $1,000s more, riders could buy a full-size touring bike with better wind protection, more storage, and advanced rider technology. Riders who wanted a blank slate to build a custom bike often chose a different Softail model instead. Another major factor, Harley's shifting focus. With the introduction of models like the Lowrider ST, which offers a bigger fairing, more power, Milwaukee 8 117, and a sportier ride, the Sport Glide was quickly overshadowed. Riders looking for a performance touring Softail gravitated toward the Lowrider ST, while those wanting a more traditional cruiser chose the Lowrider S or Heritage Classic. Many dealerships are offering deep discounts, sometimes cutting prices by thousands of dollars just to clear out stock.
For riders looking for a versatile Harley at a bargain price, the Sport Glide is actually a solid deal. But for Harley, it's another example of a bike that tried to do too much and ended up pleasing too few.
And that wraps up our list of the 7 Harley Davidson motorcycles that dealers can't sell, so you can buy them with massive discounts. Which bike on this list surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments. And before you go, be sure to check out our other videos covering the best and worst Harley models of all time. Thanks for watching. Ride safe, and we'll see you in the next one.